But today we are super excited because if any of you were on the call, I think it was even just 3 weeks ago, a returner kind of stood up or raised her hand and said, hey, I have got some great tips on LinkedIn if you all have some extra minutes. And so when someone has tips on LinkedIn, it's kind of like, we want more than a few minutes. So I'm happy to introduce Jacqueline Noguera, who raised her hand, who is a returner, and said, how can I help my fellow returners? And so we're so happy, Jacqueline, that you are here today to share some great tips on what you can do to kind of stand out as a candidate in the market today. And the great thing about Jacqueline is that, well, I mean, she's going to introduce herself, but I wanted to share she has a great and diverse background, technical program manager, project manager. She's got a really great technical background, but she's got a lot in marketing and stuff like that. So someone who has so many talents to bring to the table, and sometimes it's, how do you highlight all those talents? And so today she raised her hand, and if those of you who were on the call heard me say, we are taking you up on that. She has put together a fabulous presentation for all of you to talk about, how you can outshine the competition, and even if you're not outshining the competition, how can you just really show your best self, show your talent, show your expertise, show your education in a way that when you have airtime, FaceTime, a recruiter is looking at your resume, they're going to look and say, ooh, awesome. I want to talk to this person. So without further ado, Jacqueline, can I hand it on over to you? You can do a more introduction of yourself. We would love that. And then I just want to share with everyone on the call that she has very graciously offered to answer questions during her presentation. So if you have questions, between Nisha and I, we are going to be watching the chat. So we would love for you to put any questions in the chat and on, what she's talking about. So, when she's talking about like LinkedIn profiles or whatever, and if you've got a question on that would be applicable for like everyone on the call, please put it in the chat, and either Nisha and I will kind of like break in and say, here's a great question that we would love for you to answer right now. And without further ado, I think that's it. I know you're all going to be listening intently, but before the end of this power hour, as we often talk about, please share your LinkedIn profile so we can all connect, because I know one of the things that Jacqueline is going to be talking about is the power of your network and the power of LinkedIn, and whether we like it or not, it is a tool that we all need to embrace and kind of master as best we can to help us in our job search. So if you all want to add your LinkedIn profile so that by the end of the hour, we can all link in with yourself. Right now, there's 30 people on the call. There's 30 new connections for all of you. So now I am handing it over, but before I do, I know that Shraddha, who is our technical guru, has suggested that you all go to the top right and under view, do speaker view. So instead of seeing everyone's like blank name, we will be able to see Jacqueline's beautiful face. But before I do that, could I quickly just turn on your camera so we can take a picture? Because I think that would be fabulous. And it would be a great thank you to someone, a fellow returner who has volunteered her time to help all of us. So thank you, Pragati. Ooh, I love your black and white. Anyone else willing to turn on your camera so we can take a picture? Thanks.
It's great to see everybody.
It is great to see everyone. In the bottom left-hand corner, it should say stop video. Let me see how many lovely. So we could get a few more, and then Nisha, do you know how to take a picture? Thank you.
I will too.
If anyone else can turn on their camera, we'll take a picture. That would be extra lovely. Nadia, are you brave enough? Or Nitu, Anitha, Roxana? I believe it or not, I really hate calling people out. I do. It's kind of like when you're in any kind of like seminar or whatever, and they're asking questions and you're like, please don't pick me. So you put your head down or whatever.
That's right.
Right here, we just don't turn on our cameras. But you know what? We're going to go with all the beautiful, lovely faces that we have right now. So Nisha, I'm going to ask you to take the picture, and then I'm stop talking. So everyone smile on the count of 3.
Yes. Everyone ready?
Yep.
So 1, 2, and 3. Hold.
How'd it come out?
Yes, all good. Thank you.
Lovely. Okay, you can all turn your cameras off. And then Jacqueline, over to you.
Oh, bye, ladies. Hey, so hello. My name's Jacqueline Noguera. Everybody calls me Jax because it's a long name. What can I tell you? You're gonna see me look over here, stage left, because all my notes are over there. So I'm not ignoring anybody. I'm just looking at my notes. And we've got a lot of things to cover, so I'll just go ahead and jump in. Again, my name's Jacqueline Noguera. My last role was over at LinkedIn. I was a program manager for the Global Event Marketing Group, which is a group that does global events. They produce them, they put them together, and they work with the other many business units at LinkedIn to help them put together their events. Before that, I was at Blue Shield of California Foundation. I was the information systems manager and special projects. Now, as many of you know, special projects is like operations. It's basically whatever anybody doesn't want to do, that goes to me, and it crosses my desk and I get it done. So I've got about 15 years in operations, beginning at Museum of Natural History, where I was a junior project manager in the Rose Center of Earth and Space. Then I moved over to Peter Gabriel's not-for-profit human rights organization, which is called Witness, and they provide technical assistance to NGOs in countries where there are bad things happening and teach them how to use video and film production so they can document those things and send them to whomever, like the World Court, so that people are aware of what's going on in their countries. And then let's see, I moved over to New York Academy of Medicine, and I worked in development there as a Salesforce person. And then over to City of Oakland, where I ran the summer job program a couple of years ago in 2015, 2016, something like that, a while back. And now I'm actually moving into a new role, but we'll talk about that a little later. So if we want to take a look at the agenda real quick, I can tell you what we're going to try and squeeze into this power hour. So I already we'll talk about LinkedIn and some of the things that can help you while you are putting together your LinkedIn profile. Some behavioral things that I think are very important. And hopefully you'll be able to take those tips and add things to your LinkedIn profile. Then we'll talk about something called You Are the Asset. And that's my cheerleading moment for all of you to really jump in and try some new things to get people aware of you. Also, I think it's very important. We'll close with taking care of yourself, because looking for a job is a job. So we want to make sure that you guys are taking care of yourself and that you have the appropriate resources if you need them, or at least you know that they are available. Okay, so we'll go to LinkedIn. So really the basics are, it's not just about your profile, and then I'll talk about the algorithm. So the basics are, you're going to put your photo, your headline, your cover photo, your about section, your project section, which is a new section, any kind of volunteer work or pro bono work that you're doing. That's also great to add. And within those places of about and projects and any kind of volunteer work that you're doing, make sure that you put in what your experience was as well. Don't just put, I did this, and leave it at that. you know, when recruiters view your profile, they want to know what kind of well-rounded person you are, what other things you've done that are not specifically project management or business analyst. And those are kind of dry terms, right? And actually the job encompasses so much more, as all of you know. Right. So, and also upload your resume if your resume is not already in there. Now, a lot of these tips are things that maybe you've already heard, but I want to reinforce them that it's really important that you fill out and you continue to update your profile as things occur. Because other people can see if you have that marked off on your preferences. When someone, if I update my profile and I have that little bar that my contacts can see when I update it, it'll come out as a post. So people will be notified that you're updating your profile. And as active as you are within LinkedIn, that is really important. And I'll tell you why, because when you search for something on Google, basically it's a single rank, right? So whatever website or whatever you're looking for gets the most hits or has been visited most, as they say, that is the first one to appear. LinkedIn is a little different. It doesn't work exactly that way. It's actually based on the behavior of the user. So it's kind of like the 6 degrees of separation. It's things appear in my feed that are related to me. So the people who I have connected with, those people and their connections, and that's how it works. So just so that you know that it's not anything like Google, or that if you post something, everybody's going to see it. No, they won't. And I'll get into a little bit more of that in just a minute. So make sure that your profile is up to date. It's never finished. You can always update it with other things. Make sure that you're using really good keywords. If you're looking for something specific, don't put every keyword in there, because then you won't get any feedback, but you know what you're looking for. And so take a few minutes or take time when you're starting to fill out your profile to really think about what are the keywords for the roles that I want. If it's a cheap bottle washer, if you're at one of those companies that uses those cutesy names, don't do that, because that's not a business name. So tell us what you actually did, and not the cutesy name that some companies have. They're cute and it's adorable, but it's not really useful to the rest of the industry, right? It's the industry that you're trying to get into. And I want you to reach out to the visitors who view your profile. If you have your preferences set, you'll be able to see the people who have viewed your profile. If they're blocked, if like they're a recruiter from some company, then you won't be able to see exactly who that person is. But a lot of people will visit your profile. You can see their name. Just, tag them and say, hi, thanks for stopping by. I hope, we can connect if you have a few minutes, or, just thanks for stopping by. And this is very important throughout all of your activity on LinkedIn. Anytime you respond to a post, anytime you click a like, and someone responds back, make sure that you acknowledge it, because that's how the rankings within LinkedIn work. Now, the other thing, and I'll talk about the algorithm in a few minutes. If anybody tells you they know exactly what the algorithm is, they're lying, because nobody really knows unless you're a developer at LinkedIn. And I don't even know. And I have lots of friends who are developers, but nobody knows. And it's constantly changing. So just be aware. Don't fall for somebody who's going to try and sell you something like, I know the algorithm and everything that you need to do. The stuff that I'm telling you or suggesting to you to do are things that are pretty much well established within LinkedIn. Okay. Let's see. Oh, and remember to put, if you're looking for a job, remember to go green and look for the purple. Those are my little notes there. So that means make sure that your profile is set to, I'm looking for work, open to work. That's the green band that you get on your picture. And the purple band are recruiters who are looking for folks. So you can do a search on recruiters, and anybody who's got a purple band, you can take a look at what they're looking for. Coke break. Okay. Don't forget the about on when you go see, if I go look at a specific company like Apple or Pinterest or Facebook, whatever, if you look at that company's page and scroll down a bit, there is an about section. And usually under that, there is a button that says, I'm interested. And if you're interested in working for that company, go ahead and push that button, because that will inform HR at that company that you're interested, and that will come up in their feed. Okay, so that's real important as well. Yeah, make sure that you check your preferences and that you have adjusted your preferences so that the recruiters can contact you. Now, any of the stuff that I am mentioning that you don't know how to do, there's a YouTube video that will show you exactly how to do it. So that's what I usually rely on. And the LinkedIn knowledge base is very accurate. So you can either view the knowledge base at LinkedIn by pushing help, or you can just type in what I'm trying to do on YouTube, and a video will come up, and hopefully it's the right video. Skills section. Yeah, don't forget to fill out your skills. I think you have a list of like 50 skills that you can tag. Yeah, and sometimes you can go in and change them if you're looking for a specific job and those keywords are not in your skills. Just make sure you keep an eye on that. And I already mentioned real-time profile views matter. So when people view your profile, the more people that view your profile is great. So more is more. And what's better than more is the people who are viewing your profile. So I always recommend, if you are a project manager, and I'll just use that, or a marketing person, I'll just use marketing, and you want to work for a specific company, look for your colleague or similar person at that company, and ask them, send them a note and say, hi, I'm just wondering if there are any openings. I hope maybe we can talk or connect. And most of the time, people are very nice. I know I did it when I was at LinkedIn. If anybody had sent me their resume or tagged me on LinkedIn, I would definitely push that up to my director or send it to HR. So that's a nice way, one, to make friends, and two, to have an inroad into getting your profile and resume in front of a decision maker. Does anybody have any questions yet, or I'm going to move on? Okay, so let's talk about the algorithm. Now, what is an algorithm? It is a procedure used to solve a problem or perform a specific computation. In other words, it acts as an instruction that conducts a specific action when someone uses an application. So if this, then that, right? If you push this button, then that happens. If you post an article, then this happens. So that's how really the algorithm, or most algorithms, work. The secret of LinkedIn's algorithm is anyone's guess, but it is important to remember what an algorithm is, and also take the time to do some research. There are plenty of videos on YouTube about the LinkedIn algorithm or about algorithms in general. There's also plenty of videos out there that can help you with whatever you're looking for. There are plenty of self-help videos, job counselors, that type of thing. And I've run across a few. Some of them are really good, but you have to take some of them with a grain of salt, because they're usually trying to sell you something as well. But for the most part, they're really good. Okay, so I've I've gone through some stuff here already. Dude, are you sure we don't have any questions yet?
I have a question.
Okay.
For retainer, for the LinkedIn, do we only list the last 10 to 15 years, or it's better to list the experience before the career break?
Yeah, you know,
Okay.
that's a really good question. Because you have to be aware of, and hate to say it, there is ageism out there. So yeah, I mean, that doesn't mean lie. That just means be deliberate about what you're putting on LinkedIn. You know, you don't want a full CV. If they ask you for a full CV, then you would give them whatever, if you think it's relevant. But yeah, I would only put maybe the last 7 to 8 years, I think, probably. Arlene, what do you think? What is it?
You can, depending on what you want to highlight, Sophie, and everybody, and what you want to do, you can go back, you know, 10, 15 years, you know, especially if, you know, your break, let's say you had an 8-year break, right? So going back 15 years is showing the 7 years you did before the break. But Jax is right, there is ageism. So you don't want to use your whole career, because, you know, you can easily, if someone looked at my full resume and saw my first job and figured I was 22 or 23 or 21 when I graduated from college, they can easily do the math and figure out how old I am. And so you don't want to do that. None of us want to do that. So I wouldn't go more than 20 years at the most, and that includes your breaks. So, you know, the year 2000 and above, well, actually 2020, 2003 and above.
And when you have a break, you know, you weren't standing in a room by yourself. You were doing stuff, right? You were living. And whatever you were doing, it was probably some kind of project, whether it was taking care of a loved one who was ill or raising a child. You know, you can turn that into a story, and what you learned during that time. They're all skills, and there's really nothing that compares to parenthood regarding a multiple skills that you will need. So it's interesting that if you take the time to do that kind of insight, you also have a good recollection of what you learned along the way. Like I do that all the time when I think, wait a second, did I do that thing? Well, I should put that in my project list. That was neat. Even though it was maybe something like, you know, I do a lot of political work too. So I do a lot of work on different campaigns. And one of them was I was a digital manager for a friend who was running for mayor here in Oakland. And I forgot about that. But that was like a substantial amount of time that I put into that volunteer work. And so now it's going into my project list. I'm still writing it. What I want to talk about next is when you are connecting to folks. I really highly recommend the whole Lions thing. And I don't know if you guys know what the Lion is. The Lion is LinkedIn Open Network. That's what it stands for. And if you put Lion or hashtag Lion on any post that you are posting, or if you put it in your title somewhere or somewhere on your profile, the Lions will find you. And they will ask you to connect. So the Lions Open Network is anybody who posts on Lions or Lions International. The courtesy is to, if they ask you to connect, that you do, because these are the folks who have 15, 20, 30,000 connections on LinkedIn. And the more connections you have, the more visibility you have, right? Even if you don't like interact with that person on a daily basis, you know, I'm going to have a higher visibility if I have 30,000 connections rather than if I have under 500. And the other thing that is very important is the under 500. If you do not have 500 connections, anything you post is probably not going to get seen. That's just the way it is. Not a whole lot that you can do about it. But there's a specific thing when you look at somebody's profile, or you look at your own, it'll just say 500, right? So that's really the bare minimum that you can possibly have. So in order to bump that up, I would definitely do Lions and increase your contacts. And these are people who may be able to help you at some point. So make sure that you do that. Some
I
of the
think Carla
things that,
has a question. Carla, where'd you
Okay.
go? There you are.
Yes. When you were mentioning when you have a story to tell about other things, about your gaps, or where do you put that in your LinkedIn?
you know, you can put that in projects. There's a section called projects now.
Okay.
You can also put it in your about section, but I think about would really be more about what you've done lately. You know, what that's like your selling point. The project section gives you a more,
It's like a
some,
title. I'm sorry, I haven't been very into it, LinkedIn. Today I'm going to get into it.
okay, great.
But the thing is, these projects, how would you like? Let's say, does it come with a title and then you write a story about the project? How
You know,
does
it's
that
just a
work?
blank space. It's
Oh, it's
just
a
a blank
blank space.
space. It just says projects.
Just
Oh,
share your
okay.
screen, Jacqueline, if you want to just show.
Yeah.
Yeah, you that.
Oh, do you want me to do it? Share my screen?
Yeah, just to show Carla.
All right.
Oh, if you can share your LinkedIn. Oh, how does that work? Okay. Oh, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure that if doesn't get too bulky, or it's like, which is the right space to add that kind of,
I
part of
wouldn't
your
put it in,
life.
I wouldn't put it in the about section because it's further up, right? It's near the top. So that should be really your elevator speech should go in there.
Okay. Okay. I got you.
But in the project section, I think you can just put anything in there, really, any viable project that you worked on.
Okay, because I've worked in so many projects. I mean, personally and professionally. So I also don't want it to get too busy that, it's boring and
Right.
people just see a bunch of that big text and it's like, oh, I'm not going to read that.
Here's what I suggest. Do a search on Google for project list. And you're
Okay.
going to find a template and it'll have project name, what you did on that project, what the project goal was. So it's like beep, beep, beep. So there's probably maybe 3 or 4, but 5 bullets. And that's that project overview, right? And then you do another one under that. But yeah, if you want to go into greater detail that you were able to do this and you were able to overcome this because there was a barrier toward the end of the project and you had to, think on your feet or whatever, then yeah, put a description in there that you were able to do that. This is your chance to shine and blow your own horn. So by all means, bring out the brass, right? So
Thank
yeah,
you.
I would do that in projects, definitely.
Thank you.
Sure. Also, when you are, you want to become what they call an SME, which is a subject matter expert. So by that, I mean, talk about, comment on those things that you know about, those things that are in your industry. I'm starting to do that. I have now put out one blog post, basically, just as like to test the water. And what did I find? Well, not a lot of people hit the blog post. Okay, why? Because I'm not a known creator. So there is also a button in your preferences that says turn creator mode on. So that means you have access to other tools within LinkedIn. So what I've done now is create a calendar of things I want to write about and that I'm going to have to sit down and do it and put this content together a little bit ahead of a production, right? Like a production calendar. So if I do, if you comment every day on LinkedIn, that's great. If you put a blog post out every day, man, your numbers are going to go up. I can't do that. I don't have that kind of time, or it takes a lot of time to write a blog post. I mean, and I'm a little bit anal in that sense. So if I do once a week, then I create a cadence of things that I'm putting together. And then as it's sort of, you got to be in it for the long haul. So once I can begin to develop an audience and people start to comment, then I'll be more visible to the rest of LinkedIn. Makes sense, right? And when you're doing that, I'm going to drill down a little bit on this. When you put in a blog post or you are putting in some commentary about something you're posting, make sure that you do not put like 80 hashtags or start tagging 40 people, because LinkedIn will check that as spam and nobody will see it. So the spam filters at LinkedIn are pretty tough. So just be aware, keep it very professional. That's what LinkedIn is about. It's about talking and creating commentary and linking in with other people who are in your industry. It's just about business. So it's not you know, like Facebook or something where you can post Donald Duck videos, although I have right. Also, spacing. This is, I heard this from a friend of mine the other day. When you are putting in the comments that you are going to type in, some people put a comment in or start writing the first sentence and then hit enter, 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 so that LinkedIn will put more, and then they'll open it up. And that's kind of a trick. It's a little bit of clickbait. Just go ahead and put your comment in single spaced. Don't put the extra lines in, because that'll also get tagged. Just FYI. The content is actually scanned by AI. So there is a level of human contact as well. But the first sort of filter goes through AI. And if you don't pass muster, you know, you don't. If you do pass muster, or if your content is flagged for whatever reason, then it probably goes to a human being who's going to look at it for, you know, are you using the right language? Are you trying to sell something? Are you using an external link to something else, to another website? Those things will get tagged. So just be aware, just be careful. Right, engagement pods. Further costs. Okay. Also join groups. If you are a member of alumni, or you like potatoes, fried potatoes, and there's a group on LinkedIn for fried potatoes, then join that group, because those people can also connect with you and you can build your contacts. Right. Yeah. And again, I want to mention that make sure whatever you're posting sort of aligns with the LinkedIn values, right? So if you're not contributing something, if it's just something that you know, you're trying to sell or something, it probably will get marked as spam. Just okay. And take action. Here's my next thing. So make sure that you are sharing and writing. And again, we get to the subject matter expert. As many blog posts that you are getting, all of those go back into your profile. So when a recruiter looks at your profile, they're going to say, well, hey, she knows how to do this. She's written like 8 articles on project management, or, you know, underwater basket weaving. I'm going to go to her because she's the go-to girl. So make sure that you do that. That will only help your visibility within LinkedIn. And that's really important. And that takes time. I understand it. But it's also a really good creative thing to do while you're job searching, because, you know, the job search thing is, I gotta apply. I gotta send a note. I gotta apply. And you're just going to do that all day. And you're not using your creative brain. You're not being creative about who you are, right? So take the time to give your brain a rest, do something creative, and recharge your batteries, and then get back after it. Okay. So publish regularly is what I'm saying. And I guess, can we go to You Are the Asset, unless anybody has any questions? It's a book break for me.
I have.
There's my website.
Can I ask?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just curious if you can talk a little about the difference between having the follow button versus the normal connect button. on your profile? And is that something we should aspire to? Is it something only for LinkedIn Premium members who pay?
Yeah, I think there is a differentiation between, I've been a member of LinkedIn since the darn thing started. So I have a premium account. When you move over to creator mode, you press that little sidebar into creator mode, then it comes up that people can follow you.
Okay, thank you.
That's really the only difference.
You know, one of the things that I think you can look at as a job seeker for all of us is, and I remember when I had gotten laid off, a friend of mine had said, you need to bump up your don't just use the free LinkedIn, pay the subscription rate, and you know what, you get the first month for free. And then if you're just looking for a few months, you're only paying for a few months after that free first month. So it's something, and certainly often when we're looking for work, money can be very tight, and I definitely understand that. But if it'll help in the job search, then it might be worth, you know, paying for it for a couple of months, just so you can do more connects, more reach outs, and just have more full use of the tool. So that is something to think about.
It also mentions sort of an insider thing. Excuse me. If you know somebody at LinkedIn, or you have a friend who knows somebody at LinkedIn, ask them, can I get a free membership? And LinkedIn FTEs, full-time employees, can gift memberships for a limited amount of time. I think it's like 6 months. And you can have premium access. So yet another reason to continue to expand your network. If you can get somebody at LinkedIn to gift you a 6-month, then you absolutely should.
Mm-hmm. So Jax, considering the time, we've got about almost 15 minutes. Can we go to the just kind of like, you wanted to talk about caring for yourself? Because I know you had some really great points on that one. Just because
Yeah,
I think it's really
if we could do a little bit of you're the asset, and not too much. I mean, like, I have a personal website. I also like to play on Canva a lot, and they have those posts. This post in particular that I put on my Twitter. I also put it on Instagram, and I will on Twitter. I'm still going to call it Twitter, by the way. I will tweet at people I know, or I will tweet at a CEO or a director of operations, because I have operations background, and say hello. And a lot of times people will come back and say, well, hello back. What are you doing? Send me your resume. So that's also a way to get decision makers to take a look at who you are. And it's not the, one size fits all type thing. But I think the more creative you can be about how to sell and market yourself, the better. And you have to be a little bit of a little pushy, not like a Karen or anything, but be a good Karen and continue to push forward, right? Okay. So yeah, we only have a few more minutes, right? This is one of the blog posts that I did that I posted on LinkedIn, but it's also on my website. And so, this is part of your branding as well. So anytime I do an additional blog post, it's going to be the exact same thing with my goofy face and the name of the title of the piece, but it's going to be the same exact thing until I find something that looks better. Because then when somebody sees this, oh, Jack's just released another blog post. Well, good for her, because I'm creating a brand, right? I'm now branding myself. Something that you can depend on, right? That's me. Right, you are the asset. So treat yourself like if you were going to sell something, that person is you. So you may have to think in a different way. And as women, we're always conditioned and socialized to take care of other people. This is a chance for you to really take care of yourself. And by virtue of taking care of yourself, you're taking care of your family, your friends, your relationships, your dog, your cat, whatever. Okay. Also, so we talked about alumni. If you went to a college, university, I can guarantee you that there's an alumni group on LinkedIn. If you don't know if there is one, you can contact your university and they will direct you. So that's also a great asset. And when you look at different companies, you can look for alumni and say, hey, go blue. I went to University of Michigan, so I usually connect with a lot of Wolverines out there. Some of them here in California, which I find odd, but yeah, they're not all in Michigan anymore. Football season starts in 26 days. It's FYI. Okay. Also ask your former managers for advice, for referrals, and for recommendations. Recommendations on your profile are really good tools for recruiters to take a look at who you are. And I had tagged one of my former bosses on LinkedIn and said, hey, I'm looking for another job. Do you have a few minutes to talk? Well, we were on the phone for like 2 hours. He sent me this Excel spreadsheet because he's also looking for work. And this Excel spreadsheet had lists of, senior leadership at all these different companies. So you never know. Make sure that you raise your hand because people are willing to help you because they're all out there as well, right? Can you cold call people? Yeah, you can. I'm including that as one of the checklist things or links to helpful links. There's a if you're not really sure how to approach a recruiter or what that, I think it's like 30 or 60 characters that you have just to say hello. There are a couple of cold message templates that might be useful for you. And then you can add your own slant to it, whatever that happens to be. But yeah, continue to reach out to people as often as you can. So yeah, we talked about personal websites. You can do that. There's also a helpful link here on how to do that. And some of the options that are available. Some of them are actually pretty easy to manipulate and not a big deal.
We will be sending out, thank you, I think it was Pooja, then your name just went away from me. We are going to be sending out we haven't shown a ton of slides, but the whole slideshow, which will include these links after today's power hour. So you will be getting this.
Oh yeah, one of the things that I think are in my notes somewhere, but if you're certified, if you're not certified for something particular role, like if you're a project manager and you don't have your PMP, go get certified because that bumps you up as well. Somebody just posted about LinkedIn Learning. Yeah. If you have access to LinkedIn Learning, spend the time on LinkedIn Learning and then you get that little certification at the end of a course. Recruiters will look at that. Okay, she took that AI course. Well, she great. I need somebody who has a little bit of information or experience in AI. So, the more you can, if you're, what's the phrase? If you're in a job and you're earning and learning, then you should stay there. If you're in a job and you're not earning or learning, probably not.
Quick question.
Go.
Quick question, Jacqueline.
Yeah.
So these certifications that you do of LinkedIn Learning, or there is another tool, Great Learning. When you do those certifications, do we post that on our LinkedIn or it's anyways? We do. Okay.
Yeah, when you finish a LinkedIn Learning course, you usually get like a little certificate that you have completed the course. By all means, post it.
Okay, but just as a post, but not as in the certification section.
Just as a post, not in the certification section. If you are if your industry has a certification program, like project management has PMI, Scrum Masters have Scrum Master Alliance.
Yep.
Whatever you're doing, go get those certifications so that you can
Yes.
put those letters behind your name. I'm in the
Got it.
process of doing yet another certification. It's the Agile.
Agilist, safe
Yeah.
agilist.
Oh yeah, I'm an Agile girl. Servant leadership, man. That's what this is about too, is being
Okay.
the servant leader.
Got it.
Thank you. That's a great
So
question.
Nisha just put in the chat a bunch of free Google courses for 2023. So please take a look at those and you know, when this is over, you can just turn off or keep your camera off, hit the mute button, and then just don't hang up and you'll be able to kind of like click on all of these as well. If you want to take a look at these. I think one of the things, just because we have 10 minutes left, and if anyone has some questions, I want them to be able to answer. And I think Shraddha, you're going to be showing the like a little checklist that we've come up with. You know, at the end of the day, what Jax is trying to say is that the more activity you have on LinkedIn, the more you're going to be noticed, right? The more and in beginning with connections. And it kind of really starts with like making sure your profile is really good, that you've got a great picture, that you've got a good banner, that you are, you know, you've got the logo of your company you've got on your LinkedIn, like go to mine and look at it. Cause I've had help with mine and listening to all the professionals, just as a sample. Mine's not perfect, but it'll give you ideas. And the more you do, like if you take a LinkedIn class, so many of it have seen someone sharing, hey, I just finished my LinkedIn course on program management or DE&I recruiting or project management, whatever it is. And so that notification is going to kind of like the more you post, the more, that's what the algorithm is. Like the more you post, the more you put on there, like each and every day or a couple days every week, the more hits you're going to get, essentially. And so that's what we want you to be able to do. So yes, if you take those courses or you've taken some Google classes and you put those on there, put a little note, hey, I'm so excited to share that I just finished the Agile project management course on Google. Every time you get a recommendation, that's another one. So just kind of like the more you can do is what's going to get you noticed, right? More is more.
Yeah, and I would also add that if you do post something, whatever it is, and somebody makes a comment about that, respond to that person, because that will also push you up in the algorithm rankings. And it's also polite, right?
Another thing I want to share, if you go through the list, Nisha has added a ton. There are so many free resources out there. So many free courses between LinkedIn and Google. Community colleges have great programs at a very nominal price. So, you know, I know that in a job search, sometimes money can be really tight. If you're the only income and you have no income or you're on unemployment, you kind of need to pick and choose what you do. So there are a ton of free resources out there to help you with your profile, with your resume, whatever it is. So please keep that in mind. So we've got 7 minutes left. Any glaring questions that, and then I'll wrap up, that anyone has? Shraddha, do you want to go over the checklist?
I'm ready. I am ready. Yeah,
Okay,
I can, if there are no questions, I'll quickly jump.
That we thought would be helpful, because sometimes it's, you know, it can be overwhelming. Jax shared a lot of stuff. She reiterated many things that we've been sharing on Power Hour. And it's, you know, so you hear 20 things on a 1 hour or an hour and 10 minute Power Hour, and you're like, oh my God, what do? I forget. So we've got this beautiful checklist for you.
I can walk them through.
Yep, go ahead.
So it's very simple. It's just a reminder for you from today's event and what's priority if you're not very active on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is your professional face. There are 2 checklists here. So everything is neatly quantifiable. You can use this, print it, or keep it next to you. And as in how you finish these things, keep checking the box. It's that simple. Of course, the very first thing is the profile photo. It is the primary thing on a LinkedIn profile, yet we see
90+% of returners don't have a profile photo. So it's important to have your face out there. Take a professional picture, use YouTube to find out which is a perfect lighting and all those things. Have your family help you, but make sure you have a picture. Title. Most of the time, people say, they mention looking for marketing manager role in so and so, and they don't use sentences. This is the title that you want to get a job in, so make sure that you put that title. And there is always open to work button, which is going to tell recruiters that you are open to work with these titles. If you have multiple things like project management, program management, event management, etc., put those slashes and then add all of that, but use this as your job title. Mention that. Connections. Just like Jacqueline mentioned, for you to be at a higher visibility rate at LinkedIn, you need to have more than 500 connections. So put yourself a goal. Use this and add maybe 5 connections per day, 10 connections per day. All you have to do is find out relevant connections, create a cold message template, copy pasted with their name. If you send at least 20, 10 of them will accept. But I would actually say 19 will accept, because people do accept. About section. I also wanted to inform you that about section can be very tricky. This, like Jacqueline mentioned, use this for your elevator pitch. Keep it very hyper focused to what you have done during your break, before your break, what are you doing now, what courses you've taken, etc. If you need an example for how to create one as a returner, there is a link here. If you click on it, it'll open a lot of resources on Women Back to Work page. For example, we have a returner guide here. It says elevator pitch. You can click on this. There is how to create a perfect LinkedIn. It has examples of how to mention about section, right? What should your description be? What all things you need to include in your about section. So make sure you check them before and create your own description in your about section. Activity, keep yourself a goal and say like, share the articles from your industry, from your expertise. Experience, some of them that are I think we had a question recently, how far should I mention my experience? Whatever experience you mention, please do include a description to it. It's very important to include quantifiable descriptions. It will be of no use if you just say this job this year, this is the title. Please do include quantifiable numbers in them. Projects, I think Jacqueline already mentioned about project skills and recommendations, so I will skip that. This is exactly what Jacqueline spoke about today, knowing the algorithm. Do a little bit of research and see in whatever platform you choose to post, whether it's Twitter or it's LinkedIn, just understand the basics of it. So when you're posting, when you're putting all that effort to do it, it should be useful. Engaging with your network. Once your LinkedIn profile is updated, keep yourself goals and just do this and check the box. Like, comment, post, repost 1 new post per day, create 2 LinkedIn posts per week, publish 1 LinkedIn blog per week. And I was going to mention extensively use ChatGPT to help you with, consolidating your thoughts is very, very helpful. Increase visibility by tagging the right people. For example, tag with Women Back to Work, you can tag Arlene, Nisha, the company Women Back to Work. You can tag, if you want to talk about today's event, you can tag Jacqueline, myself. So tagging people will make sure that your post reaches those networks as well. So, with your 500 reach, you're also reaching their 500 plus reach, which is a big deal. So don't shy away from tagging people and the companies. Join LinkedIn groups that are relevant to your job. To take this one step ahead, this is after you have started the basics. This is going deeper into the algorithm, right? you can include a 30-second profile video. There is that option on LinkedIn where you can talk, you can literally use your elevator pitch in that if you need, just shorten it. Use that feature, be a little, this is where you can become creative and, you know, take those bold steps. Enhancing credibility by changing connect to follow, for which you need to have an increased connection count. Elevate significant post to increase higher visibility of your profile. You can always pin a particular post on your profile. Every time a person is on your profile, they will see which was your prominent post. Or if you spend a lot of time trying to write a blog, make sure that you pin it and then increase the you know, visibility of it by adding comments, replying to the comments, and making sure your friends are reading it and they're sharing it. So it's just networking, just go crazy with networking. I think the next 2 points are pretty self-explanatory. You know, share content at least 3 times per week to keep that continuity. Virality of your post can be increased if you leverage weekends, because on weekends, no company is sharing post. It's just the LinkedIn network that's sharing. So it'll increase your chances of getting higher reach. And these are some of the resources that we had in the PowerPoint, and these are clickable. We will be sending you this checklist and you can access all these things.
Thank you, Shraddha.
Yeah. Somebody mentioned, how do I know we're past 1, but Arlene, I'll let you either, if you want, I can continue by sharing for 1 more minute how to use ChatGPT in creative way.
I think we're gonna, well, let's save that for next, for next time. I think that a few things there were a lot of information was shared today. So Jax, you're amazing. Thank you so much. And Shraddha, going over what you just did was very helpful too. I think that, you know, for some people, the amount of information that we shared is for all levels of people looking for a job. Maybe some people, you know, you haven't worked in 5 years and you're still working on a picture on LinkedIn. That's okay. You know, when we're talking about posting a video or, you know, writing things on LinkedIn, please do not be overwhelmed, because everyone's in a different spot of where you are, not only in your job search, but kind of like your own comfortableness. You got to do what's making you comfortable. But, you know, at the end of the day, what Jax was saying is you are the asset. You are what's being brought to the table. So you do want to be able to highlight that. So, you know, making sure you've got a solid resume, making sure you have a great LinkedIn profile. It doesn't, if you've got blogs, if you've got a video, awesome. If you don't stress about it, right? You know, you work toward that, but don't kill yourself over it, really. Start with some of the basics and move up. And that's what you want to please take from today. I do want to share that, just in the interest of time, I'm going to do it. So what's super exciting is when Jax first came to Power Hour, she was interviewing, but she was not working. But she actually, I don't like to rain on people's parades. So Jax, you share what you're doing, you know, for 30 seconds. What you're gonna do.
Yeah, I got my my FedEx text earlier today because my laptop is coming from Pinterest and I start there on Monday. So I'm going to be working in software governance as a PM, as project manager. So let me just say, ladies, hang in there. It is a job to do this. You know, we got your back, right? Reach out to the other women who are in your circle and hang in there. It is a lot of work, but we believe in you. So
I'm going to do a shameless plug, because Jax is actually working through Acquia as a contractor at Pinterest. And I know for those of you who have been on Power Hour several times or whatever, we have often talked about working as a contractor. If you don't need a full-time job, like one that has benefits because you're the one carrying this for your family and can work contract, it is a fabulous way to, 1, get back into the job market, 2, get into that dream company you've always worked for, or try something different. If you've always worked for super large organizations and think about, do I want to work for a small company? Work a 6 or a 9 month contract or 3 month contract. Figure out if that's what you like. And if you like, great. And if you don't, finish your contract and go on to something else. Working as a contractor is really a phenomenal way to get back into the job market, to kind of brush up your skills. And I'm gonna, Nisha, will you do me a favor? Put the Acrya website in the chat. As I mentioned at the beginning, we are an IT staffing firm. We've got tons of jobs open right now. Even though it's a tough market, we still have, gosh, probably over 100 jobs open right now. We work with so many of our clients, Cisco, Palo Alto Networks, Pinterest. Okay, that's all I can think of right now. But ServiceNow, Adobe, who know about women back to work, that want to hire returners, right? So take a look at the jobs on the Acrya website. And if you see one, you think like, oh my gosh, that's such a perfect job for me, send Nisha an email and say, hey, job number 1, 2, 3, 4, I want to be submitted. And from there, we will work with the Acrya recruiter and get you presented to our client. But I really can't say enough. And I have been in the staffing and contracting, if you would, industry for my whole career. But I've seen so many people get their dream job, get the job of a lifetime that started out as a contractor. So please, if you're looking to get back into the workforce, don't discount the contract positions, because they really are, they can be very phenomenal. And look at Jack's gonna go work at Pinterest. She's gonna be able to put that little red thumbtack on her resume. It's gonna look amazing. So Nisha, thank you for doing all the stuff that I've just asked you to do. Please be sure to link in before you all hang up. Please be sure to link in with everyone on here. I'm going to give Minu a shout out because she linked in with me and I accepted her LinkedIn. It's a fabulous profile. So you're there, that maybe you can start taking the extra steps on your profile to just get more highlights to yourself. But thank you all for coming. If you have any questions, I'm going to put my email address in the chat. Feel free to connect with me. And then Nisha, did you put the WBW recruiter thingy? Sorry.
Let me put an Elias email as well. If anyone missed uploading their resumes in our website, they can reach out to us directly.
Thank you. So I will tell you, we have the founder of Women Back to Work on the call, and I always joke with her that my time management is the worst because I can never keep power hour to an hour. So so once again, I have missed my time opportunity. But Jax, thank you so much. We're so excited for you that, one, we thank you for, taking the stuff that you've learned and you mastered and you put into place, and then you got this fabulous job at Pinterest, which is so exciting.
Thank you.
And we're so happy that you are part of the Acrya family, because you're going to be working through Acrya. That's very exciting. And I would love it in the next couple of months that so many of you who are on this call, we get to say the same thing, that you are either working a full-time position or a contract position through Acrya. There's lots of job opportunities. If you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out to either me or Nisha. And I think that's it. Nisha, am I forgetting anything?
Jacqueline, can you also share your LinkedIn, please?
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, and if you just look me up, it's Jacqueline Noguera. I will accept your invitation.
Thanks so much. Yeah.
But I will definitely do that
I'll
right
do
now.
that.
And I'm going to just quickly share that we are super excited. We have 2 clients that are going to be in our power hours for next month. We have Kaiser Permanente and we have Aurora. Aurora did a returnship with us last year and it was phenomenal. Due to market conditions, they are going to be doing their next returnship in early 2024. But we're super excited to be able to talk to all of you, and they are super excited to talk to you about, kind of like what it's like to work at Kaiser. Not clinical positions. So IT positions, project manager positions, and same thing with Aurora. So we've got a couple of technology companies coming in the month of September. We're very excited about that. And okay, Nisha, anything else?
I think
Am I
you've
good?
covered it all.
Okay.
I'm good.
So thank you all for coming. Jax, thank you so much. Everyone, round of
pleasure.
applause for Jax, right? Because
My
she
pleasure. Thanks, ladies. Listen,
killed it.
keep at it. Keep
She
at it.
killed it. So for all of you, that there are still some, if you, and I'm sorry I went over, you guys, I go over all the time. I know I'm terrible at time management. If you have not linked in with everyone in the chat, what you can do is, don't hang up on the call, and then just take the time to click on everyone's LinkedIn and link in with each other. And one of the things I love is when I link in with someone and I'll see other names from people who have attended Power Hour. So you are linking in with each other, and you do. Jack said it. I know I said it a whole bunch of times. You never know who knows who where, right? You might link in with someone who's second cousin on their brother's side, works at Apple, and that's your dream job, right? So there you have a connection. So link in with each other. So thank you all for coming. Jax, thank you so much. We will
Thank you.
be
This is
emailing the
great.
slides. There's more information that's going to be emailed to all of you. And with that, I'm going to bid adieu. Thank you all.